Do you want to learn how to use a fusible thread in your bobbin to temporarily hold binding on for you on your quilts? Hi, Angie Dugan from the Quilting Connection. I am up at my Appleton location. I am working on a shop sample right now, a quilt that I want to get out on the wall and get hung up because we've got the fabrics in for it. It's the Apothecary line. It's our first fabric line that we've ever gotten, so super excited about that. It is almost done being long-armed, and I was like, how can I get my binding done faster? I have a few videos here on my YouTube channel, Angie's Answers. Thank you for being here. I have a few videos on different ways to finish binding. I would have to say personally my least favorite way is hand binding. I will do it if I have to, if I'm entering something in a show, but if I am giving it as a gift, if I am putting it up on my wall, if I'm using it personally for my quilts, I'm usually going to machine bind everything. So I do that with the pinning method. So I have another video for pinning, but I wanted to show you an alternate method. So Superior Threads has a product that is called Charlotte's Web. It is a fusible thread and it is pretty thick. So it comes on these little cones. There are spools available too, but because it's a fusible thread, what I'm gonna do is put this thread in my bobbin. I'm gonna attach the binding on the long arm. I have a video for that too, so you can go back and watch attaching the binding on the long arm, or attach it with your domestic sewing machine. You can put this in your bobbin of your domestic sewing machine too. Then I'm gonna take you over by my Laura Star iron. We're gonna flip that binding to the back side and we're gonna iron it down, and you're gonna see the magic of this fusible thread. So the fusible is more of a temporary hold. It is not going to replace the stitching. I kind of did a little bit of research on it, and it says that it's more for, like, if you were doing a wall hanging and applique, then this fusible thread would be plenty. But if it's something that you're going to be washing or it's going to be moving around, it's better to use the fusible thread to temporarily hold the binding to the backside, but still go back in later and stitch it and secure it before you do any washings, is what the warning was. So let me bring you by my bobbin winder and let's wind a bobbin. I do also need, because this is on a spool, it is a horizontal spool, I need to use the horizontal spool pin holder on my bobbin winder. I only need half of it. So the older long arm machines, like the Avantes, the Fusions, some of the older handy quilter machines, you had to put this post with the threading on it into your machine, and then you could use these pieces. But we only need these pieces for the bobbin winder. So let me bring you in a little closer. First, we're going to attach our horizontal spool pin. So the way that this works is there is one hole that's holding this piece, and this does come out, separate and come out. So this half needs to attach to your spool pin here, and then you've got this one that's going to push in to there. Then I'm going to tighten that knob down so everything gets tighter and holds in place, and then this doesn't move as easily and it won't slide up and down. So this is how you would attach your horizontal spool pin to your bobbin winder. This is also how you attach it if you have one of the newer handy quilter machines, the Amaras, a Forte, or the Infinities. You already have this part, so you just need these two pieces. Then we're going to put our spool of thread on here. I want the thread coming off from this back side. So I want my thread back here so I can pull this way, and that's going to pull straight up. Then I'm going to put it here. We use these little tufts of batting. That just helps when my thread is pulling off of here to keep it smooth. And any thread that has lint, this is going to help pull any extra lint off. Then we're going to wrap around our pigtail here. And then I need to go into my tension disc. So I'm going to set it in there, but I'm going to hold both sides and pull it till I feel it floss. And that is really tight. So normally we're winding a 50 weight thread. So fine is what we use the most. So I'm going to loosen this. I'm going to kind of find, there's a little spot that sticks out. So mine's right here. There's a little spot that's sticking out. So I want to turn this counterclockwise. So I'm going to go a full turn around counterclockwise and put that little dot back there. That still feels tight. So I'm going to do another turn counterclockwise. I'm counting these, so then that way I'm going to go a third one. That way when I put my sew fine on, it's going to be back to good tension. So I have tension here, but it's easier to pull out. Then I want to make sure that I don't use this fusible thread on anything else. So I have a bobbin here that I used a permanent marker and wrote the word fusible on. That's going to be my left side. So I'm going to keep that facing out, and I'm going to bring the thread so I'm holding it with my left thumbnail, and then I'm going to wrap away from me. So I'm going to give myself some slack here, and I'm going to wrap over the top and away from me. And that side that says fusible is facing my hand. That's my left side of my bobbin. So when I put this on the post, that side that says fusible is also facing out. Then I can take little snips here, and I can come in and I can get all the way inside of that bobbin and snip that thread off. So by preloading some on that bobbin, I'm gonna make sure that those tails are all held, and now I don't have any tails on the outside part of my bobbin. I'm also going to slow down my winder and maybe wind at 2. We normally wind at 10, and we'll see how this goes. Oh, needs a little more speed. Looking good so far. It's pulling off of here, no problem. It's not getting stuck anywhere. So that's what I'm just keeping an eye on, that it's not gonna get stuck anywhere. Good. Coming off of here, no problem. It is also winding evenly front and back on my bobbin. If not, you can help push it either to the front or the back, whichever way you need a little bit more of. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. I don't think I'm gonna need a full bobbin. So that's almost full. It's about 3/4 full. Let me pull this off and snip it so then you can see. I only did about 3/4 full on that bobbin. Then another tip is I always pull the thread out of the tension disc before I take the cone off of the post there. That way it's not going to change where this is positioned. So your bobbin winder, this should be at an angle. Your little wire pigtail, that should be at an angle away from the tension disc. And then if you need horizontal spool pin, you can put that on. Before I do anything else, I'm gonna grab here, and now I'm gonna turn this back clockwise. So I'm gonna go a full turn. That's 1, 2, and 3. So there, if you feel on this knob here, there's a little piece that's raised up and sticking out, and that's what I used because it was facing down there. So now this should be back to set, ready for me to use my so-fine thread again. Then I can just loosen this knob to be able to pull that post off, and I can store my horizontal spool pin back in its bag. I'm gonna finish my quilt. I'm gonna attach the binding using the long arm on the front side. So I have that video down below if you wanna go watch that one. And then I will bring you back once I'm all trimmed and ready to iron it on the Laura Star. Quilt is done. I rolled it back so I'm at the top edge. I'm ready to attach the binding using my long arm, but I do need to change my bobbin tension. So this is a little bit thicker than the thread that we normally use. I'm not sure the weight of this. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up. I know So Fine is 50. That's what we normally use. So I am going to have to adjust my bobbin tension. So I always like to think about my bobbin case with this little opening, that this is my top side, because when I put it in the machine, that you can see this opening when it's in the machine. So this is my top side. And then if I feel on this side, there's that long piece here. That's what holds the tension on your thread. So when I'm putting my bobbin into my bobbin case, I want my thread to match this side. So I don't want it opposite. Does that make sense? I want it over on this side. So when I'm looking at it, I'm normally looking at it this way. So I'm holding my bobbin case this way. I'm holding my thread, so the thread is also on that side. So when I set this in and I pull, this is going to rotate clockwise. I know that's hard for you to see because this bobbin doesn't have that little slot to see it moving around, but it is rotating clockwise. That's the way I need it to rotate. Then it will usually find its way into that opening, and then I need to pull it here just past this hole. So I keep pulling till it's past that hole. If I flip it over this way, this looks like the letter J. So right by that hole, there's a little curl and it looks like the letter J, and the thread needs to be in the long part of the letter J. Then what I'm looking for is, will this drop? It's not. So that tells me that I have too much tension, and that's because this is just a thicker thread. So when I quilted my beautiful apothecary quilt, I used bottom line. So I used bottom line, top and bottom. I was actually using a 60 weight top and bottom, because when I put a So Fine on here, or even the Magnifico, the 40 weight, the thread was just too much, and I wanted the piecing to be the highlight. So I quilted some fun spider webs on here. You'll see some videos of that. And I just wanted that thread to be subtle, so I used a bottom line, top and bottom, when I quilted this. I did have, I think, a total of like 8 thread breaks. I was just playing with tension, playing with needle size, adjusting it, and I finally got it right. So I was happy, but I did have a few thread breaks with the bottom line. It's just a little thinner, so not gonna be as strong as some of our thicker threads. So what we need to do now is adjust this so this will fall, because this is really tight right now and it's not gonna pull out of my bobbin when I'm trying to sew with it. So on the same side as that really long piece that your thread is going through, you have 2 screws. So a bigger one and a smaller one. The bigger one is surrounded by that little lip, usually, or it's a darker color. That's the screw that you want to use to adjust tension. So I'm gonna use my little eyeglass screwdriver in here, and I am just barely turning to the left, just a couple minutes, because when I go to the left, that's gonna loosen it. Then I'm gonna hold again. Nope, and this could be because this thread is fusible, it's a little sticky. So I'm gonna try a more of an adjustment. So I'm gonna get my screwdriver in there, and I'm gonna turn to the left even more. Nope, all right. I'm trying to also pay attention to where was that screw when I first started. So that way when I go back to using my sew fine or my bottom line thread, I can get that screw back to about where it was. So we're gonna go even more to the left. Well, it's getting there. It's getting a little looser. Get my screwdriver in there and go even more to the left. So I'm doing almost quarter turns. Oh, oh. Oh, yeah, there we go. So it is looser now. It is dropping on its own. That might be a little bit too loose. So I always joke that I think about this like a spider dropping, and especially since this is Charlotte's Web, that's very fitting. I don't want fast spiders. I don't like spiders, so I definitely don't want any fast spiders. So I am gonna put my screwdriver in and go just a hair back to the right, just like maybe 1 or 2 minutes to slow down that drop. Because I want, oh, now I went a little too slow. I want a nice slow spider drop. There we go. Nice and slow, like Charlotte was from the book. So now I've got this giant long tail of all of this thread that I was playing with to get my tension set right. I am not going to wind this back on. I am just going to take my scissors and snip that, leave myself a little bit of a tail, but snip the rest of that. Apparently I need sharper scissors. I love this thread. It is really cool. It is so thick. It does look like a spider web. So now I'm going to put my bobbin into my machine. When I attach binding with the long arm, I am doing a brown binding. So I did change my top thread color to be brown. I usually try to match my binding, my thread color to my binding, at least on the top. I usually don't care what's in the bobbin. If I'm not using the Charlotte's Web, if I'm using a regular thread, I don't really care what's in the bobbin, but I at least want that top thread to match, because I've seen before, if you walk around and look at some quilts where the binding is pulling to the back, sometimes those threads will show through if it's a heavy contrast or a much different color. So I always try to change my top thread to match the color of my binding. I'm going to work on attaching this binding, and I will bring you over to Laura Star when we are ready to see the magic. Here we are at Laura Star. If you don't know about Laura Star, it is a steam generator iron. It is a microfine steam. There's a boiler system down below that heats up that water really, really hot. And then my iron head also heats up my water. So there's no water here above my iron head. All that water is down below the board. So it takes that water and it shrinks that molecule and makes it more like a dry cleaning steam. So it's not gonna make my quilt wet. We are obsessed with Laura Star. I know I've done a few videos on Laura Star before in the past. And it's just one of our favorite products in the shop. Love how flat and crisp it makes everything. With the first binding that I ironed, when I was preparing my binding and ironing that binding in half, and how well it actually held and stayed together and didn't flop right open, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Tina that works at our Elkhorn store made a Bargello quilt, and you know how tight some of those seams can get when those pieces are getting teeny tiny, and she was amazed at how flat those were too. So let's work on getting Charlotte's Web wrapped around to this backside and attached to the backside. So I did turn one corner. I wanted to practice. I did turn one corner, and what I've learned is I do have to hold the iron just a little bit longer. So I can't like push past it fast. So I'm getting my binding lined up, and I'm just gonna let my iron sit here for just a little bit. I'm not using any of the steam. I'm just allowing it to get that nice bond to that fusible thread and moving it a little bit forward and letting it sit there. And as I'm doing that, I'm getting this part wrapped forward and held in place where I want that to be. This Lorasar system that I'm using also has a fan built into the board. So I have it switched right now so the fan is pulling down. So it is helping hold my quilt for me. So my quilt's not running off the edge of the board on me too. So I don't have to like hold here too. So that's feeling good, looking good. Then I'm just gonna go back across it one more time just to make sure that that is fused and held on there nice and sticky. You can apply a little bit of pressure on here too, just trying to make sure that this fusible thread gets a chance to lock to my binding. Nice, that feels pretty good. I'm just kind of rubbing my finger on it to feel if there's any spots that have any movement. If there is, then I'm gonna hold my iron there just a little bit longer. So this is a little bit of a slower process, but I am obsessed with this because now I don't have to do anything more right now. This can be done and up on the wall. Again, if I was going to finish this completely or if I need to wash this, I would make sure that I do stitch the binding here. So I would go one more time around and stitch this to secure it before I do any washing. So this is just a temporary hold, but this is nice and quick and helps me get my samples done a little faster. So the Charlotte's Web thread can be used for appliques. It can also be used for like this kind of scenario with your binding. Anything that you want to temporarily hold on, you can use the Charlotte's Web thread for. So I'm just getting that lined up, letting it sit on there, putting a little bit of pressure on it, and then I'm gonna go back to make sure that that seal is nice and tight and that's held. So I'm just doing a little section at a time. Then I'm just gonna feel with my finger and see if there's any loose spots. If there is, I could try to hit it with my steam too, just to really get that to lock down. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to work my way around the quilt and get this on there. I do, just a little tip, when I'm trimming, I leave a little bit of extra batting and backing beyond the edge of my quilt. So I did trim like a scant 1/4 inch extra here. So that way when I am pulling this binding and wrapping that binding around, now my binding is nice and full, it's substantial. There is some extra fabric in there, extra batting and backing fabric in there. So I hope that you've watched learning about Charlotte's Web. I hope you try it on a project. I would love to hear from you if you do. Remember, just a temporary hold. You still need to go in and do that stitching, but this is a faster way than using pins maybe, or poking yourself. You know, if it's hard for you to use pins, this could be an alternative to pinning. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Please like, subscribe, follow, share this out with your quilty friends, and have an amazing day. Happy quilting!